In this week's episode of Clearing the Air, we catch back up with Kim Lindloff from the Mid-Maine Chamber of Commerce. She has major concerns with question 1. I'm Thorn. This show allows me to talk with Mainers working on the most important clean energy project to ever come to our state. We discuss how this project is providing jobs and other benefits today while creating clean energy for a better tomorrow. So it's a beautiful day here in Waterville along the river. Maybe tell me a little bit about what's happening in the community.
Well, Waterville is going through a renaissance right now. We're making Front Street and Main Street, which are Route 201, which goes right up to Jackman, into two-way streets like it was in the 60s and before that. So that's happening right now. Our iconic bridge is going to be replaced next year. In the past 10 years, we've had a new homeless shelter, a new police station, a renovated Carnegie Library, the Waterville Public Library, a renovated opera house, just to name a few.
If this referendum does pass, what concerns do you have about on the community here?
Well, in addition to the paper mills and the cost of energy for them, we also have major colleges in the region. This is a hub for education in the area. We also have a couple of hospitals. And precision manufacturing is a big deal in the greater Waterville area. We have a lot of machine shops, and I hate to do anything that would negatively impact their ability to succeed in our state, in our region. So anything we can do to keep those energy costs stable or even lowered, we're very supportive of.
Yeah, and I remember the last time we talked about a number of the benefits associated with the projects, but I know for you, the lower energy costs and more stable energy future was something that was really important for you and the community that you represent.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be the person I am today without SD Warren and Kai's Fiber. My father worked at both. My grandparents worked at one. So I really believe in our paper mills and their future. I'd hate to lose those jobs. We have two paper mills that are chamber members. So having that reliable, stable energy cost is huge in my book. We've watched other mills go down around the state. This one happened to affect me personally. When I got out of college, I started a small convenience store in Delhi across the river, and the guys from Scott Paper and the truckers used to come in, and then Kimberly-Clark. And not long after I started it up, Kimberly-Clark announced it was closing. And the primary reason was the cost of production. It cost them more to produce toilet tissue here than it did in the South. So they moved the jobs to the southern part of the country.
I think a year ago, the idea of a second referendum was a possibility, and now obviously it's in front of us. We'll have the election here in the early part of November. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts about that, and how you see that implicating not only the project but also the larger area around Waterville.
Well, my chamber, which represents 23 communities in the region, my board took a unanimous position opposed to this referendum. And then we reinforced that opposition at a meeting a couple weeks ago because we really, really, really don't like the retroactivity of it. And the message that sends to developers, people who are looking to relocate or expand in this state, that's what I'm very fearful about. I think that scares people off. And these bigger organizations, why wouldn't they just go to a state that doesn't have some of these more eclectic laws? So that whole piece scares me. I think part of the damage is done. It's out there.
I think the pathway it gives for other people that are, when you talk about competition as a kind of a hallmark of our society, to have an out-of-state entity come in, NextEra as the prime funder of the campaign to get the signatures and to get that on the ballot and then do all the advertising around it, I think is also a dangerous sign, where any business that's looking at expanding here in Maine has to consider the possibility that one of its competitors takes a campaign out against it.
Well, that's a bigger issue though, isn't it? The state of Maine is really an affordable place to test drive the whole referendum process because we don't there's a lot of things we don't do well in that regard. You don't need many signatures. They're not spread out around the state. You can just plant yourself in Portland, get all the signatures you want. So hopefully the whole referendum process will change as well, so that it isn't an out-of-state interest half the time.
Obviously the referendum itself has this implication associated with future investment in the state, but also if it were to interfere with this project ultimately moving forward, the benefits that have been laid out for it would also end. What are the things that you felt most passionate about in what the benefits of this project would be?
Broadband is a huge thing. If we didn't know it before, we learned that during the pandemic at its height. When area colleges closed down, particularly in Somerset County, which is part of the region that I cover, a lot of students don't have broadband or Wi-Fi at home. So they would be sitting in parking lots or here in downtown Waterville, where we have downtown Wi-Fi that's free, doing their homework, you know, in the middle of winter in March. That's a hard way to live. That's a hard way to deliver education. Telemedicine, it's another thing that's difficult to do if you don't have the equipment, right? So I think the other thing that has resonated with me over the 20 years being chamber president here in the Greater Waterville area is that as a member of the Kennebec Valley Tourism Council board, which has not taken a position on this, I know how difficult it is to get people, tourists, to come to Somerset County when you don't have that connectivity, whether it's your phone or your iPad or whatever you're using. Why would a teenager travel up here, or a busy business professional, to go whitewater rafting or whatever they want to do for sport, hiking, snowmobiling, if they can't connect? The
opposition's used a lot of commercials and advertising. One of the things that they've done from the beginning was talk about the pristine woods that are being affected by the 53 miles from West Forks to the Quebec border. And obviously we know the nature of the woods when we designed that it is a working forest that's been logged for generations, but the opposite continues to make the opposite argument.
My dad has a camp up in Caratunk, and he used to go driving those logging roads a lot, and they're working forests, they're logging roads. It's not pristine forest that we're cutting down 100-year-old maples, sugar maples or something. It's working forest, and I think that message gets lost in the snippet commercials. We love the fact that it's hydro. We love the fact that it's renewable. It helps the governor get to her climate goals and the state of Maine's climate goals. I think it's a win situation for everybody.
Well, Kim, thank you very much again for your time. I really appreciate it, and also scheduling this beautiful blue sky day.
Yes, Chamber of Commerce Day. I appreciate you circling back with us. We're very passionate about the NECEC project, and we want to see it succeed for everyone.